So today we're going to talk about Luc Besson's newest film, Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Now, Valerian, I thought as a visual film, this is amazing. Like these visuals are I don't know if I could say groundbreaking because we've had these kind of visuals before with like Avatar and stuff. But the visuals in this movie just to me are completely just amazing, and how they, it's CG, it's effects, but it is so masterfully done. I think that it works so well with these visuals. They really are the main focus of this movie. I think that's the biggest thing that I took out of this, is that the visuals are outstanding, and I think that the creativity in this film and how Luc Besson is such a great director and just being weird and being different, but in a good way. He's really good at being something that's out of the norm, but to me doesn't ruin it. It makes it interesting and it makes it unique as opposed to a typical Hollywood blockbuster. But this, I think, is technically an independent film, which is funny because it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like an independent film, but apparently I looked online and it's the most expensive independent film ever made as of now. And that's insane. That I hope that it makes its money back, because that to me would be a giant loss for the biggest independent film as of now to tank. And I don't think it'll tank. I feel like it'll make money, but I don't think it'll make like big blockbuster movies like Spider-Man or anything else. But I really loved how Luc Besson is such a great visionary filmmaker, and how he can make something unique that we've seen before in these kind of movies, because this is no different than a sci-fi space adventure we've seen before. And I think that he brings a lot to it. He brings a lot to this world and how these characters interact with this world, and I really think that it all works on such a great level. And it's just, Luc Besson is just such a great director. Like Fifth Element, I think, is great, and Leon the Professional is amazing, and I think Lucy's good too. But I don't know where I'd put this. I think those are the only. I think I've only seen 4 movies of his. 5 if you count Taken, but he produced that. But I think I've only seen 4 Luc Besson films. But I don't know if I'd put this over. I'd probably put this over Lucy, yes, but I don't think I'd put it over Fifth Element or Leon the Professional. I think that those, like Leon the Professional, is an amazing action film, and Fifth Element, I think, is more charismatic, I guess you could say, because like these 2 actors in it, Dane DeHaan and Cara Delevingne, who play Valerian and Laureline, they to me are just, they're okay. They're not terrible. At first I thought Dane DeHaan was honestly really bad, but the way that the film went on, and the way that him and Cara Delevingne acted, I feel like they were told on purpose to act this way, probably because of the source material, because of this graphic novel. It probably have some reasoning behind why they act this way. I don't think it's bad acting. After I watched it all the way through, it improved over time in the movie, and I don't think, now that I finished it, I didn't think that it was bad acting, but it's just an acting direction that's weird. It's not a normal acting decision. Like with these characters, they seem very unrealistic, but I mean, it makes sense in this unrealistic, futuristic world that we have not seen yet, if that ever kind of thing happens with our world. But I thought that they were okay. Even, like I said at the beginning, I didn't like them that much, but then they grew on me as it went along, and they kind of were funny in the way they acted. Like how Laureline, how she's very, like, the way she talks is very bland, but it's funny with her reactions to things. Like, she says something that she should be excited about or should be mad about, but she says it blandly, but I think it makes it more funny, I guess you could say. Like, there's just some lines that kind of crack me up because she had this monotone voice. And then Dane DeHaan, like I said at first, I didn't really like how he acted, but it kind of grew on me, and I don't know why. I got used to it as it progressed, but at first I was like, wow, this isn't good. And I like Dane DeHaan a lot. Like in Chronicle or Amazing Spider-Man 2, I really loved him in those movies, but at first I just didn't in this, but then he grew on me, which is good, because I didn't want to hate on him. I didn't want to rag on him. But I really think that this movie is just really interesting, and just how these characters work and how this world works, and how you really get an idea of this, how this world is created, and how you see all these different creatures from different planets, and they go to a couple different locations, but it doesn't go everywhere. But I wonder why it's called Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets then, because you really don't go many places, but where you go, there's amazing visuals. It's stunning how beautiful this movie is. Like, even if you don't like the acting or the story, which is what I hear a common criticism of this right now, is that the writing and the acting and the story are not that great, and I could definitely see what you're talking about, but I think that this, like, the visuals to me are worth the price of admission, at least for me anyways. They were really worth it. Just like how that the Ghost in the Shell live action movie was that just came out like a couple months ago. That movie I thought was okay, but the visuals again were just outstanding. They were just really good and really beautiful, and just kind of swept me away through the film. And I feel that way about this one too. It drove me along regardless of the story and character flaws and acting flaws, you could say, but it still drove me along for the ride. I thought that was a good way that I could still be invested despite it being not as good in the story or character department. So, yeah, I just thought that really, the visuals are outstanding. It really is such an accomplishment seeing what we can do now. And I liked, like I said, even though at first, like I said, I didn't like Dane DeHaan or Cara Delevingne at first, they grew on me. And then they have a lot of interesting other characters, or other actors in this movie. Like, we have Clive Owen, who's fine in it. He's not in it much. And then you've got Ethan Hawke in a scene, and he's very weird. It caught me off guard, like, what was going on with Ethan Hawke in this movie. He was kind of outrageous in this movie. And then you get Rihanna, which the trailers kept showing her a lot in it, and she's really not in it much. She's just in a little bit of the movie. But I liked her in the movie. I thought that she was funny whenever you get to meet her and meet what she is. And like the visuals on her, like whenever you see in the trailer where she's doing that pole dance and she changes from different outfits and all that, it looks cool how you have that visual change with her, and I thought she was funny in the movie. But yeah, Valerian, just, I don't know, it's definitely not an amazing movie, but it's got some amazing visuals. I think that the visuals alone for me are worth the price of admission. They really are such groundbreaking visuals that even though there are moments in this movie where I didn't care as much at the beginning and I thought some of the jokes fell flat, but as they went along they got better. I still think that the visuals are outstanding and worth the price of admission. I think the characters are not terrible. They are fine, but they're not anything special. Not like The Fifth Element, where like The Fifth Element is just, it was more batshit crazy, which I thought made it more fun and made the characters more memorable. Like how Mila Jovovich, how she played her character, how she played Lilu, and just how she was just so crazy. And like Bruce Willis and Chris Tucker, and how they all brought these interesting takes on those characters. And in this one, the two main characters, like I said, are just kind of bland, but they grew on me as they went along, but they were never anything like The Fifth Element, where they were really, really interesting or funny, because a lot of the jokes that I didn't like came from them. But as it went along, it got a little better, but still, it never got to The Fifth Element level of being characters that I really, really liked, and they were really funny and interesting. These characters are just nothing really, but that might just be because of the source material. Luc Besson probably just used the source material and thought of keeping it just like that, not having anything else, which I don't know, like it didn't piss me off, but they're not anything to write home about. But yeah, just Valerian I thought was fine. It's hard to say it's a mixed bag because I'd say the visuals are so good that I can say it's way better than just being an okay movie. But the characters, while the characters don't drag it down, they knock it down a peg a little bit. So I'd say that it's good. I don't think it's great, but I think it's good, especially for the visuals. And then some of the characters are okay, but it's not great, if you understand what I'm saying. So overall, Valerian I just thought was fine. It was a fine visual movie that's worth the price of admission for the visuals, and the characters were okay, but it didn't have anything to write home about. But overall, Valerian was really interesting. It was just an interesting sit. But thanks guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.